Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sleep Space. Tonight, we will talk about something deeply beautiful, the idea that you are still a child somewhere in the cosmos. Due to the speed of light, the light reflected off your body, every version of you, at every age, is still traveling outward into the vast universe. Tonight, we'll explore what that truly means. We'll journey through physics, astronomy, and philosophy to understand how your past selves still shimmer in some far off place, perhaps lighting up the surface of a planet you will never see. Where are you listening from tonight? And what time is it where you are? Whether you're tuning in under the sun, in the middle of the night, or watching stars blink just outside your window, let your mind drift with us. Let's begin at the core of this idea: light. Light is fast. In fact, it's the fastest thing in the universe that we know of, moving about 186,000 miles per second. To most of us, light feels instant. We flip a switch and the room is suddenly bright. But in the language of the universe, even light takes time to get places. And that time delay has astonishing consequences. When you look at the stars at night, you're not seeing them as they are now. You're seeing them as they were. Some of the stars you see might not even exist anymore. Their light has been traveling toward your eyes for years, decades, even millennia, and it's only now reaching Earth. That's the central idea behind what's called look-back time. The farther away something is in space, the further back in time we are seeing it. Light carries information, and light travels, but it never jumps ahead of time. It can't outrun the distance. It only moves forward, carrying history with it. Now turn this idea around. You too reflect light. Right now, photons are bouncing off your skin, your hair, your clothes. Some of that light hits objects nearby, some is absorbed, some is scattered. But a tiny, barely noticeable fraction of it escapes Earth altogether. It travels outward into space, moving forever in a straight line, unless it's bent by gravity or absorbed by matter. And in that stream of photons, if you had the right sensors, the right telescope, the right filters, you'd see the image of you. Not who you are now, but who you were in that exact moment. Your face, your expression, even your posture frozen in time, preserved in light. This is not science fiction, this is physics. You exist, or rather your image exists, light years away from here, depending on how much time has passed. Every moment of your life, from your first steps to the moment you're listening now, has cast a unique light signature into space, and it's still out there. Let's imagine a moment from your childhood. Picture a time when you were 7 years old, playing in a backyard, standing beneath the sun. Light from that moment, light that touched your skin, bounced off your cheeks, and scattered into the sky, has been traveling for years. If it escaped the atmosphere, it's now several light years away. That means if an alien civilization had a telescope powerful enough and aimed at Earth, and they were positioned in just the right spot, they could, in theory, see that 7-year-old version of you right now. This isn't just poetic, it's mathematically valid. The universe is vast enough and empty enough for light to travel great distances unimpeded. That image of you has not disappeared. It has just moved on, and it keeps moving. Every second that passes, the light you emit from your body, your home, your planet, races outward like an expanding shell. It travels in all directions, forming a bubble that grows endlessly. Within that bubble are countless snapshots of you. You brushing your teeth, you laughing at a joke, you watching clouds roll by, you listening to this right now. Every photon carries information, and once it leaves Earth, it becomes a time capsule, a message in a cosmic bottle launched into the dark sea of space. Now we have to pause here and ask, if all this light is out there, can we ever retrieve it? Can someone, somewhere, actually see our past in this way? Theoretically, yes, though practically, it's far beyond what we can currently achieve. The light from a person's body is extremely faint. Human beings don't emit light the way stars or galaxies do. We reflect it, and that reflected light becomes diffuse quickly. But with enough technological advancement, with unimaginably powerful telescopes, and incredibly sensitive sensors, it's possible that future civilizations, whether alien or human, could reconstruct ancient scenes from the light still floating through space. Astronomers already do something similar on a grander scale. They peer into deep space and see galaxies as they were billions of years ago. We've even seen the cosmic microwave background, light from the very beginning of the universe, over 13 billion years ago. That ancient light has stretched and cooled, but it's still here. If the cosmos can preserve that signal, then it can preserve you too. There's something deeply comforting about this. The idea that we don't vanish completely, that even the most ordinary moments, the glance at a stranger, the light in your eyes as you spoke with someone you loved, are still out there, preserved not in memory, but in physics. You are still out there in all your forms, as a baby, as a teenager, as you were yesterday. These aren't just metaphors, they are physical realities, etched into light, travelling farther and farther from Earth with every passing second. Now imagine how large that light bubble is. If you're 23 years old, the light from your first birthday is now 23 light years away. That's farther than the nearest stars. It's well past Proxima Centauri, Alpha Centauri A and B. It's beyond most of the systems we think of as close. Your past self, in that one shining moment, has now become interstellar. The younger you is quite literally orbiting other suns, illuminating distant worlds, brushing up against cosmic dust, moving with dignity through the deep void. This thought has strange emotional consequences. It stretches our concept of time and personal identity. Who are you if versions of yourself still drift through space? Is the child you were really gone or just elsewhere? Physics doesn't preserve you in the way memory does. It's not sentimental, it's factual. Cold photons carry your form, not your thoughts or feelings. But even so, it tells us something profound. Your presence mattered, not only to the people around you, but to the universe itself. Your body left a mark, one that still moves, one that still shines, however faintly, through the darkness. And light, unlike sound or matter, is not easily destroyed. It stretches, it fades, it becomes hard to detect, but in ideal conditions, it lasts. Even now, the light from stars long dead still fills our skies, and so too might yours. To someone, somewhere, you may be the brightest thing they've ever seen. We tend to think of the past as gone, but physics challenges that. It says the past is still moving, still shining, still going somewhere, and that includes you. As you close your eyes tonight, consider this. Your story is not bound to Earth. It's not even bound to time. You are expanding outward. You always have been. And long after this moment ends, a version of it will still exist, drifting forever into the stars. Let your thoughts rest with that truth. You are a traveler, even while still. You are a memory, even while living. You are still a child, somewhere in the cosmos. The universe doesn't forget easily, not in the way we do, with memories that fade and feelings that soften over time. The cosmos remembers differently, in wavelengths, in radiation, in the subtle shifting of particles across distances so vast we barely have a language to describe them. When we say that light carries the past, we mean that literally. The you that once existed, a moment of breath, a blink, a turning of your head, didn't just disappear. It departed. To understand how your past selves still echo through the universe, we need to deepen our view of how light behaves in space. Every object that reflects light sends that light outward in all directions. Because space is three-dimensional, the light you reflect doesn't shoot away in a single beam, like a flashlight. It radiates as a sphere, ever expanding. So the photons that bounced off your arm one morning years ago aren't all traveling together in one narrow line. They've been scattering outward in a vast shell, getting thinner and fainter as they stretch across space. This spherical shell is still expanding. 1 second after that moment occurred, the light was 1 light second away. After 1 year, 1 light year. After 20 light years. Every past moment of your life has its own expanding shell of light, nested like cosmic Russian dolls. They pass through each other, they cross galaxies, and they keep going. There's no edge to this. There's no cosmic wall to stop them. Unless they hit something, a planet, a dust cloud, a black hole, they just continue forever. Now consider the implications of this. Every person who has ever lived has emitted this kind of light. Every moment on Earth, from the fall of rain on the ancient plains to the rise of cities glowing with electric light, has been broadcast into space. But humans are small. The amount of light reflected by a single person is minuscule. It fades quickly, so why do we say your image is still out there? Because light doesn't need to be bright to be real. It only needs to travel. And while the photons that carried your image may be scattered or diluted, some persist. Some have escaped the pull of gravity, the absorption of clouds, the interference of atmospheres. They are fragile messages, but real ones. Trillions of them are still making their way outward, forming a portrait of your existence that extends across light years. From a scientific standpoint, the ability to see this past light is limited. Our instruments are nowhere near sensitive enough to detect individual photons from a person's childhood, now 20 or 30 light years away. But that limitation is technological, not fundamental. There is nothing in the laws of physics that says such a reconstruction is impossible. The universe has already stored the signal. The problem is ours to solve. And yet, even without perfect detection, the idea itself remains profound. Because this isn't about surveillance, it isn't about being observed, it's about persistence. Your existence, once it happened, cannot be undone. Not completely. Some part of it has already fled Earth. Some part of it is already light years away, uncatchable, irreversible, unreachable even by you. That moment you laughed on your 12th birthday, the light from that instant is now beyond our solar system, long gone, part of the interstellar medium. We often think of our lives as trapped on a timeline, a thread that moves forward with only memory pointing backward. But light doesn't work that way. It moves outward in all directions and it doesn't look back. The past, for light, is always present, carried with it through the void. This brings us to the concept of an observable past. Normally, when we speak of observing the past, we're referring to telescopes aimed at deep space. We see galaxies as they were millions or billions of years ago. That's because it takes their light that long to reach us. But there's a reverse of this too. Just as we can look into the deep past by observing distant galaxies, someone far enough away could, in theory, observe Earth's past by watching our light arrive. In this way, we become part of the cosmic record, not metaphorically, but literally. If an alien civilization lived 65 million light years away and had an impossibly good telescope trained on Earth, they could, in theory, witness the extinction of the dinosaurs. Not in fossil form, but as it happened. The light from that moment is only now reaching that part of space. If another civilization lived 100 light years away, they could be watching Earth as it was in the 1920s. Your birth year, your childhood years. Those moments are still in transit. They are still traveling, waiting to arrive somewhere, someday. It means the past is not lost. It is simply elsewhere. This notion also reshapes how we think of identity. If your past selves are still physically represented in space, still moving, still illuminating matter they've never known, what does that say about you? Are you a single entity bound by this current moment? Or are you a sequence of luminous ghosts, each still echoing outward like ripples on a pond that never cease? The answer depends on how you define you. Biology says you are a living organism, with cells that change and die and regenerate. Psychology says you are a mind, a continuity of thought and memory. But physics offers a third possibility. You are a phenomenon in space-time, a series of configurations that once existed and whose effects, in light and motion, still ripple outward forever. Let's imagine this on a larger scale. Suppose we had a ship that could travel faster than light. Not possible, according to Einstein's relativity. But let's suspend that for a moment. If you could travel far enough, fast enough, you could reach a place where the light from your past has only just arrived. You could, in theory, watch yourself as a child, not a memory, not a recording. The real, unedited light of that moment, still carrying its original photons, untouched by interpretation. This isn't practical, but it's real. The universe doesn't erase the past, it exports it. It lets it float. Your history, moment by moment, has been launched outward like radio waves, and somewhere out there, it still shines. This also raises the question of time itself. Light connects space and time in an intimate way. In Einstein's theory of relativity, time and space are part of the same fabric, spacetime. When light travels, it does so along the geodesics of this fabric, the natural paths carved out by gravity and expansion. And light, traveling at its absolute limit, experiences no time. From the photon's perspective, its journey is instantaneous. That means that in some strange way, the moment the light left your body, say when you were 5 years old, and the moment it reaches a star 20 light years away, are the same event from the light's point of view. This compresses time into space. It suggests that the history you left behind is not just a sequence of past events, but a constellation of points still active in the cosmic web. They are fixed, they are real. They may be unreachable, but they are not erased. So the idea that you're still a child somewhere in the cosmos isn't just poetic. It's a truth that emerges from our best understanding of physics. Somewhere right now, your childhood self is radiating past a gas giant orbiting a distant sun. Somewhere, the teenager you once were is gliding past a frozen exoplanet. Somewhere, the version of you from yesterday is brushing the edge of a solar flare, unknowingly participating in the dance of stars. This view can bring comfort. It means you leave more behind than footprints. You leave photons. You leave evidence. You leave brightness. For civilizations that never meet us, for corners of the universe that never know our names, we still appear. For brief moments, the duration it takes our light to pass through them, we exist again as we once were, in the purity of the moment itself. And the same is true for everyone who came before us. The light from ancient cities, from forgotten forests, from celebrations and sorrows alike, is still making its way outward. The light from a single torch carried in an ancient village may now be illuminating some distant void we've never imagined. So when we ask what it means to live, to exist, to matter, we can remember this. Existence has a residue, not in dust, but in light, not in bones, but in motion. And that residue is still moving, still glowing, still interacting with the cosmos in ways we can't measure, but which physics insists are real. You are not only here, you are also out there, in 100 directions, at 1,000 distances, in 1,000,000 photons, all headed toward infinity. And you always will be. To understand how light from your body, and every past version of yourself, still travels through space, we have to widen the lens further. The universe is not a passive backdrop. It's an active participant in this journey. Every atom, every ray of light, every piece of matter and energy moves in accordance with the laws of physics. And yet, those same laws allow for something extraordinary: the enduring presence of the past through electromagnetic radiation. Let's take a closer look at how this radiation works. The light we see with our eyes is just one tiny portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's called visible light, ranging from wavelengths of about 400 to 700 nanometers. But your body interacts with far more than that. You emit infrared radiation due to your body heat. You reflect ultraviolet light, X-rays, radio waves, all depending on your environment and interactions. When we say light from your past still exists, we're referring to this whole spectrum of electromagnetic information. Every time you stood in the sun, every time artificial light hit your skin, every time starlight brushed across your face, you were participating in an exchange of photons. Some were absorbed, some were reflected, some traveled onward into space. All of them carried data: your shape, your position, your surroundings. You have been broadcasting unintentionally since the moment you were born. Now consider this. Photons are elementary particles. They have no mass. They travel at the speed of light, which, in our physical universe, is the upper limit of velocity. They don't slow down. They don't age. From the photon's perspective, it's as if it leaves one point and arrives at its destination instantly. Time does not pass for light. That means when a photon from your childhood leaves Earth and reaches a star system 20 light years away, it experiences that journey as simultaneous. The light that left you and the place it arrives at are two ends of one unbroken thread. This unbroken thread connects you to places you've never seen, and perhaps never will. It suggests something profound. Your past is still causally connected to distant parts of the cosmos. It influences what happens there, however subtly. A faint beam of light passing through a dusty exoplanet atmosphere might tip the balance of a chemical reaction. A signal from your reflected light might interfere constructively or destructively with some background microwave radiation. These are infinitesimal effects, but in physics, even the smallest changes ripple forward. Of course, this isn't the same as memory. The light doesn't remember you. It doesn't carry consciousness, but it carries form. It carries direction, energy, and interaction. In the language of the universe, that is what remembrance is made of. Let's pause here and consider how far light can travel. The most ancient light we know of, the cosmic microwave background, has been moving through the universe for over 13.8 billion years. It has cooled, stretched, and lost energy, but it still exists. It is a snapshot of the early universe, still present, still measurable. That tells us something crucial. Light lasts. It is persistent in a way that few other things are. It crosses voids that would destroy life. It threads the cosmos with silent signals. And some of those signals, faint as they may be, belong to you. There's a beautiful paradox here. Human life is fragile. We are subject to aging, to decay, to impermanence. But the light that reflects off us, even casually, even momentarily, escapes that fate. It becomes a traveler, potentially eternal, never stopping unless acted upon. In a universe where entropy rules, light is one of the few things that defy complete degradation. Your body changes, your memories shift, but your photons go on, carrying pieces of you farther than you will ever go. Some of them, incredibly, may already have reached stars with planets. As of today, scientists have confirmed the existence of over 5,000 exoplanets. That number grows constantly. Many of these planets orbit stars within just 10, 20, or 50 light years of Earth, well within the range of light emitted during your lifetime. That means the light from your earliest years has likely already passed over some of these worlds. Whether they host life or not, your presence has arrived. You, as you once were, have already touched alien skies. This brings us to the idea of the light cone. In physics, your light cone is a diagram that shows all the possible locations light from a given event can reach over time. Imagine a birthday party when you were 6 years old. The light from that moment radiated outward in all directions, forming a cone through space-time. Anything within that cone, any object, planet, or alien civilization, could eventually receive that light. Everything outside of it cannot. Your light cone is always expanding, always carrying more of your history forward into space. It's humbling to realize how far that cone reaches. With each passing year, your childhood expands its reach by nearly 6 trillion miles. The distance light travels in 1 year. Multiply that by your age, and you'll see how far your earliest moments have already gone. Now let's imagine an observer, not a person necessarily, but a system capable of perception. A hypothetical telescope floating somewhere 50 light years away. It has the technology to isolate and reconstruct the faintest photons. It is tuned to Earth. It catches the light bouncing from your house, your school, the sidewalks you ran across. With enough resolution, it could witness your smile as a child, your movement across a playground, the way you looked at the sky. That moment lives, not in memory, but in trajectory. It's important to note that these photons don't carry the feelings of those moments. The joy you felt, the wonder or confusion, the specific inner dialogue, those are locked in your brain's neural network. But the physical evidence of the moment is still in motion. It is still arriving somewhere new every second. You may think you've changed, moved on, forgotten, but the version of you that once was has already left, never to return, and yet never truly gone. There's something deeply existential in this. It's not only about physics, it's about how we define reality. If the past can be reconstructed through light, then it is not entirely gone. If it still has a trajectory, it still belongs to the structure of the universe. The past is not erased, it is only elsewhere. We often feel isolated within time. Trapped between birth and death, day and night, our experience of time is narrow. But physics reveals time as a dimension, one that interacts with space and can be observed indirectly. Light allows us to see time as a map, not just of what is, but of what was, and even what still is somewhere else. This perspective softens our grip on the present. It tells us that no moment is truly lost. Even the most forgettable instant, the most mundane gesture, has been carried forward. You may have long stopped thinking about the way the sunlight hit your face at age 11, but that moment is still expanding. It's still unfolding in the vast theatre of the cosmos. There's also a strange kind of immortality here, not of the soul, but of the form. If consciousness fades, if memory erodes, still your image moves on. Not metaphorically, but physically. That can be comforting or unsettling, depending on how you see it, but it is undeniably real. Imagine a planet orbiting a red dwarf 30 light years away. That planet may now be receiving the light from the day you first looked through a telescope. That photon, tiny, unnoticed, anonymous, has travelled for decades to reach that spot. It may strike a rock, it may bounce into darkness, it may pass through a gas cloud and be scattered further, but it arrived. The version of you from that day has reached a destination. This challenges our ideas of separation. The boundaries we draw between then and now, between here and there, are psychological conveniences. In the physical universe, such lines blur. Time is smeared across space. Identity is broadcast outward. And history is still in transit. You are more than a single present self. You are an expanding series of moments, still radiating, still reaching, still unfolding into places unknown. And while the signals grow fainter, they never entirely vanish. In ideal conditions, even the faintest photon can be found, traced, and understood. We may not yet have the tools to do this for individual people, but the principle is solid. Physics allows it. The universe allows it. So much of life feels fleeting. We live moment to moment, watching seconds pass and memories dissolve into the blur of ordinary days. But light doesn't forget in the way that we do. It doesn't judge whether a moment is significant or trivial. It simply records. It carries information outward, unfiltered, undisturbed by emotion or meaning. And that includes every version of you, not just the memorable ones. The toddler who once sat on the floor stacking blocks, the teen staring out a window on a rainy afternoon, the version of you who walked home thinking no one noticed. All of those versions emitted or reflected light. That light continues to travel. Somewhere, the you that thought they were invisible is passing over a frozen moon, orbiting a gas giant. A private moment, long forgotten by you, still persists in the form of a wavefront of photons crossing the interstellar dark. To truly grasp the reality of this, we need to understand what photons are and how they interact with space. Photons are quantum particles, or quanta, of light. They have no mass, which means they are not affected by inertia or friction. Once released, a photon will keep moving in a straight line at the speed of light, unless it is absorbed or deflected by matter or curved by gravity. Now consider how many photons you interact with each day. Even a dimly lit room contains trillions of them, bouncing between surfaces, reflecting off your skin, your eyes, the strands of your hair. Most of these photons are absorbed quickly by walls, clothes, molecules in the air, but a few escape into the sky, especially when you're outside. They slip through the gaps in the atmosphere and into the vacuum of space. Once there, they become part of the cosmic background. Your image, faint and incomplete, but real, is imprinted in that stream. This idea that you are preserved in light may seem abstract at first, but the science supports it. Even when photons are scattered, even when their paths are bent, the information they carry is not entirely destroyed. In fact, modern physics suggests that information itself, like mass and energy, cannot be truly lost. This is known as the principle of unitarity, and it's one of the foundations of quantum theory. Even black holes, once thought to erase all information that falls into them, may not do so after all. Stephen Hawking spent decades grappling with this paradox, and the prevailing view now is that information must be conserved. So what does that mean for you? It means that the history of your existence is not something that just disappears. It is something that the universe has already stored, in principle, within the vast and subtle structures of space-time. The light that left your skin, the sounds you made, the electromagnetic ripples you created, they are not erased. They may be scrambled, scattered, diluted, but they still exist within the universe's accounting of itself. Imagine the Earth as a glowing marble suspended in space. From a distance, it's a tiny point of light, but zoom in, far beyond what current telescopes allow, and you'd see the complexity of its radiance. Reflected sunlight from cities and oceans, glows from fires and auroras, radio waves from transmissions and electronics, and buried in that enormous mosaic, you. Your image, your motion, your presence. Not metaphorically, but physically encoded in light. Let's take a moment to think about how far this light has travelled. A single year of travel at light speed covers nearly 6 trillion miles. In 5 years, it reaches 30 trillion miles. That's farther than the orbit of even the farthest known solar system objects. And your oldest light, the light from your earliest moments, has now moved well beyond the nearest stars. It's in the territory between systems, sweeping through the quiet zones between clusters, still expanding. As you listen now, your body is also participating in this process. Light is bouncing from your features, from your eyes, your shoulders, your fingertips. Some of it is being absorbed by nearby walls or furniture, but a small amount is making its way into the sky. That light, from this exact moment, will one day pass over a star that hasn't even been named yet. It will be your broadcast, silent and unnoticed, but real. There is a strange comfort in this idea. You are not confined to the narrow corridor of your life. Your image, like a message written in particles, travels on without you. It doesn't need your permission, and it doesn't seek your awareness. It simply continues, bearing witness to a version of you that no longer exists, and yet still does. This leads us into a discussion of relativity and simultaneity. In classical physics, time is universal. Everyone experiences it the same way. But Einstein shattered that idea with his theory of special relativity. In his model, time is quantitative. It depends on your motion and your position in a gravitational field. That means two observers in different locations may not agree on when an event occurred. There is no absolute now that applies everywhere in the universe. This has fascinating consequences. It means that from some vantage points in space, your past self is not in the past at all. From the perspective of a distant galaxy receiving your childhood light right now, that version of you is still present, not metaphorically, not as a memory, but as something real and current, visible through their instruments, if they have them. This shatters the clean division between past and present. It reveals that our notions of time are not fixed, but fluid, woven together with space into a flexible geometry. Your light, your image, your presence. These are not limited to your own experience of time. They participate in a broader, more flexible structure, one where different observers can see different slices of your existence, all equally valid. In this way, you are distributed across space-time. You are not a single frame, a single version. You are a sequence of overlapping presences, each one still unfolding, still expanding outward. In some far-off part of the cosmos, you are still a child. You are still watching your first sunset. You are still standing beneath stars that, to you, seemed endless. This idea that different observers experience different nows is not just theoretical. It's been confirmed through experiments involving synchronized clocks on satellites and airplanes. GPS systems wouldn't function correctly if we didn't account for relativity. The time on orbiting satellites moves differently from the time on Earth. We already live in a relativistic universe. We're just not always aware of it. And so, the past isn't simply back there, it is still out there, depending on where you are and how fast you're moving. This makes every moment of your life part of a larger, ongoing structure, not one that ends when the moment ends, but one that continues in motion across vast distances. It's hard to imagine this at our human scale. We are so used to beginning and ending, to memory and forgetting, but the universe doesn't operate on our terms. It doesn't classify moments by importance. It treats each photon equally. And so even the moments you would call small, the ones you didn't think mattered, are still unfolding in light, somewhere far from here. This includes the moments of stillness, the pauses, the quiet afternoons, the times you sat alone, unnoticed, just existing. Those are often the moments that seem to vanish from memory the fastest, but not from the universe. It records them in light, and it lets them move outward without question. There is something democratic about this. No moment is prioritized. No experience is discarded. Everything that happened radiates outward in equal measure, without hierarchy, without narrative. You don't need to be extraordinary for your existence to matter. You only need to reflect light, and that's something you've been doing since birth. We often ask what it means to leave a mark. We think in terms of legacy, achievements, art, influence, reputation. But light offers another kind of legacy, one that's quieter, more persistent, less shaped by ego. You don't need to try, you don't need to be known. You already left your mark simply by being. Every moment you lived added photons to the universe. They moved on. They escaped Earth. And some are still traveling, carrying your outline, your presence, your being into regions where you no longer exist in body, but where the universe still carries your trace. This isn't immortality in the mythic sense. It's not consciousness or soul or memory in the human sense. It's something more subtle. A persistence of form, a persistence of light. It doesn't make you eternal, but it makes you vast. Light leaves without permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't check if a moment is meaningful. It simply moves. In that way, the universe is impartial. It carries away every moment, the monumental and the mundane, with the same quiet diligence. You may not remember what you ate for breakfast 5 years ago, but the light that touched your face that morning has never stopped traveling. It may already be brushing against a comet that formed before Earth even existed. And this is the nature of time in a universe governed by light. Most of us are taught to think of time as a river, one that flows in only one direction, from the past to the present, onward into the unknown future. But light complicates that metaphor. In many ways, time is more like a landscape, and light is a traveller across it. Different observers in different places will see different parts of the terrain, and you, your form, your image, your motion, are stitched into that terrain permanently, like a thread in an infinite quilt. Imagine walking into a field, turning your face to the sun. In that moment, 1 trillion photons scatter from your skin, some down into the earth, some sideways into the trees, and a few, just a few, upward, away from the planet's atmosphere. Those few are the ones that escape. They don't stop, they don't turn around, they continue in a straight line, preserving the exact state of things in that instant, the way your face was tilted, the temperature of your skin, the way the air bent the sunlight. That instant is not erased, it's exported, and it keeps moving outward even now. When we talk about the you, who is still a child somewhere in the cosmos, we're talking about exactly this phenomenon. Somewhere in space, the light from a day you barely remember is still illuminating dust particles. It is still measurable, in theory, if someone had a sensitive enough instrument to find it, and it is still in motion, carrying that younger version of you farther than you could ever travel yourself. This concept forces us to rethink what it means for something to be gone. We're used to thinking that when a moment passes, it's over. Done. Erased. But physics doesn't support that view. According to Einstein's equations, every moment in time, past, present, and future, exists within the four-dimensional fabric of space-time. That means the moment you were born is still there, not in the sense that you can revisit it, but in the sense that it is a valid, unerased coordinate in the universe's history. We can't reach back and live in that moment again, but its signature, its light, continues on. The event itself still has consequences rippling outward, not just in memory or story, but in the literal paths taken by particles and waves. The light that reflected off your crib, the walls of your childhood bedroom, your tiny outstretched hands, that light still exists. It is simply far away now. This is one of the quiet truths of our universe. The past isn't just something that happened, it's something that's still happening from certain perspectives. If you move far enough away from Earth and wait the right amount of time, you could see it happen, not as a recording, but as the real event, carried on waves of light across the dark. Now let's add another layer, cosmic expansion. The universe itself is growing. Space is stretching slowly everywhere, all at once. This expansion has strange consequences for the light that leaves Earth. As space expands, it stretches the wavelength of light passing through it. Over vast distances, visible light becomes infrared. Infrared becomes microwave. The signal doesn't disappear, it just shifts. So the light from your childhood that has travelled far enough will no longer be in the visible spectrum. It might become radio waves or microwaves. To the human eye, it would be invisible, but the information is still there. It's just encoded differently. Astronomers call this redshifting, the stretching of light as space expands. It's how we know how fast distant galaxies are moving away from us. It's how we know the universe had a beginning. And it means that your earliest light is not only still traveling, it's changing. Not in what it says, but in how it says it. The universe preserves your history, but it changes its voice. There's something haunting and beautiful about that. The past isn't static, it evolves. It adjusts to the conditions of the cosmos. The light from your second birthday might now be passing through a gas cloud in another galaxy. It might be absorbed by hydrogen, re-emitted, bent by gravity, scattered into new directions. That doesn't erase it. It just means your history is being woven into the fabric of the cosmos, tangled in the paths of distant stars. This reminds us that we are not separate from the universe. We are participants in its structure. Every breath you take, every moment you exist, contributes to the cosmic story. Not just in metaphor, but in measurable, physical ways. You radiate, you reflect, you leave traces. Those traces aren't just local, they're not confined to the people you know or the ground you walk on. They're interstellar, intergalactic. You are part of the backdrop of the universe now. The universe that future civilizations will observe, measure, and wonder about. To them, you might be part of the sky. In this way, we all become celestial, not as stars or planets, but as flickers of light, as whispers traveling through vacuum, as data in the long, slow song of space. Consider a civilization 1,000 light years from Earth, just now watching our planet through an impossibly powerful telescope. They would see our world not as it is now, but as it was 1,000 years ago. The medieval world, ancient empires, forests long gone. That light is still making its way outward. It's only now becoming part of someone else's present. And what about you? The version of you that existed 1 year ago is now 1 light year away. The version of you from 10 years ago is 10 light years out. Those versions persist. They are still unfolding. They may be passing over solar systems with strange magnetic fields, being curved by the gravity of binary stars, sweeping silently through zones of interstellar silence. No telescope on Earth can follow all these photons. No instrument can trace every step of your radiance. But that's not a limitation of nature, it's a limitation of our tools. The universe itself keeps the signal intact. You have already become part of the distant sky. This might change the way we think about the self. We often imagine ourselves as defined by memory, but what if we're also defined by light? What if every person is a sphere of outward traveling signals, expanding over time, intersecting with the histories of others, leaving a growing footprint across space? These footprints don't just vanish when we stop thinking about them. They remain. They stretch. They become part of the geometry of the cosmos. And this means something else. The version of you that you think is long gone. The child, the teenager, the uncertain young adult still matters, not just because you remember them, but because they are still interacting with the universe. Not in imagination, not in dream, but in physics. The idea that you are still a child somewhere in the cosmos is not a poetic image. It is a scientific fact. Your childhood light is still in motion, still bearing witness, still expanding into emptiness. It doesn't fade with time. It just moves further away. And there is something gentle in that motion. It isn't urgent. It doesn't struggle. It simply proceeds. Light doesn't need permission to persist. It doesn't check whether you felt important in that moment. It simply carries the moment forward with complete neutrality and infinite precision. You have been sending out your presence since birth, even in darkness, even in silence. And that presence, however faint, is still arriving in places you'll never go. Every moment you experience is more than just a fleeting event confined to your mind and body. It's a physical interaction, a dance of photons, atoms, and electromagnetic waves. These interactions leave traces, not just in your memory, but imprinted across the vast reaches of space. Your presence, your form, your movements, all contribute to a tapestry of light and energy stretching outward in every direction. Think about a star exploding in a distant galaxy, sending shock waves of light and energy across space for millions of years. That light reaches us long after the event, a snapshot of a moment that no longer exists here. Now consider yourself in the same cosmic context. Your life, though tiny by comparison, sends out photons in a similar way. Your personal light echoes continuing outward through the darkness. One way to grasp this is to picture your life as an ever-expanding sphere of light, each moment adding another layer to the shell. The light from your earliest years forms the inner layers, closer to the origin, while newer moments form outer shells, still moving away. This sphere is growing constantly, stretching through space-time, unaffected by distance or time passing on Earth. Your light sphere intersects countless other cosmic phenomena: dust clouds, planets, asteroids, and distant stars. Some photons might be absorbed, others scattered, but many continue undisturbed. In their journey, they interact with the universe's complex architecture, bending and shifting with gravitational fields, merging and diverging with other waves of light. These interactions don't erase the original information, they transform it, weaving your presence into the cosmic fabric. In a way, your life's light becomes part of the universe's story, a subtle note in a grand symphony spanning billions of years and countless stars. Consider the vastness of space between stars. On average, stars in our neighborhood are several light years apart. That means the light that left your face even just a few years ago is already traveling beyond the gravitational hold of the sun, moving through the cold, empty void between stars. This space is almost a perfect vacuum, so photons can travel incredibly long distances without interruption. And yet, space is not completely empty. Tiny amounts of dust and gas float in these interstellar regions, capable of interacting with light. Sometimes photons are absorbed and re-emitted, or scattered in different directions. But the vast majority continue their journey, maintaining the integrity of the original signal. This reminds us that the universe is not a still photograph, but a dynamic, evolving environment. Your light, your history, travels through this environment, subject to its complexities, but never erased. It's like a message in a bottle, cast into an ocean of stars, drifting through space and time. Now let's explore how the nature of light itself reinforces this permanence. Photons are quantum particles that also behave like waves. This wave-particle duality means they carry not only energy, but also information encoded in patterns of frequency, phase, and amplitude. This encoded information is crucial. It means that when a photon leaves your body, it is not just a generic particle of light. It is a messenger carrying the exact imprint of that moment: the color of your skin, the contours of your face, the angle of the sun hitting your eyes. If we had the technology to capture and decode these photons in perfect detail, we could reconstruct an image of you from years ago. Theoretically, the universe holds an archive of such data, scattered but intact, preserved in the unending passage of light. This also connects to how we understand information conservation in physics. The laws governing quantum systems insist that information cannot be destroyed, only transformed. This principle is a pillar of modern physics, underpinning quantum mechanics and the study of black holes, holography, and entropy. In practical terms, this means the photons that escaped your childhood are part of an unbroken chain of information. They might have interacted with cosmic dust, passed through gravitational fields, or been stretched by the expansion of space, but their fundamental imprint remains. This permanence is not only a fact of physics, but a poetic testament to existence. It means you are not confined to your present self or moment. You are a sequence of expanding light, an eternal footprint cast into the universe's endless corridors. Imagine for a moment that we could send a probe into space to intercept the light from your 5th birthday. It would capture the photons that left your skin, the glow from the candles on your cake, the shimmer of the room's decorations. These photons are real and measurable, even if faint. They represent a direct, physical connection to your past. While our current technology cannot perform such a feat, the principle holds true. The universe is full of such ancient light, carrying stories from distant times and places. Each photon is a time capsule, a traveler across space-time, silently narrating history. This also invites reflection on our place within the cosmos. The light from your past selves reaches across unimaginable distances, linking you to stars and galaxies beyond your wildest imagining. You are woven into the vast cosmic web, your life a thread in the infinite tapestry of existence. Your past selves, not just in memory, but in physical reality, still traverse the universe. They glide through the void, brushing past interstellar clouds, passing near exoplanets, merging with the radiation fields of distant suns. It's a profound reminder that the universe is not cold or indifferent in the way we often imagine. It preserves, it connects, it holds on to the echoes of your life, even as you move forward. This perspective can inspire a new sense of belonging and wonder. You are not alone, you are part of something greater, a continuous presence in the cosmos, carried on the wings of light. And so, as you exist here and now, know that you have already been everywhere. You are still a child somewhere in the vastness of space, still shining, still moving, still becoming part of the universe's endless story. Our journey now takes us deeper into the relationship between light, time, and memory. You might wonder, if the light from my past selves still travels the universe, does that mean the universe holds my history forever? The answer, in a sense, is yes, but not in the way we usually think about memory or history. The universe is an immense, impartial archive of physical events, recorded through the language of light and matter. Think of light as the ultimate storyteller. Every photon that leaves your body carries a message encoded in wavelength, intensity, direction, and polarization. These photons are unique signatures of moments long past, snapshots of reality imprinted onto the fabric of space. This story is not only about what we see. Many of the photons you emitted as a child are now part of cosmic phenomena invisible to the naked eye. Infrared rays, ultraviolet flashes, radio waves. They travel silently, forming an unseen record of your presence. These are physical facts, measurable and describable, awaiting discovery by sensitive instruments. The sheer scale of this record is staggering. Consider how many photons escape you every second, every hour, every day. When you walk outside, sunlight reflects off your skin, clothes, and surroundings. At night, moonlight or artificial light paints your silhouette. All of these interactions send photons outward. They create an expanding sphere of information that surrounds you and grows with time. This sphere isn't a metaphor, it's a real physical entity moving at the speed of light. The diameter grows by nearly 12 trillion miles each year, expanding outward into the cosmos indefinitely. Within that sphere is a perfect record, not a memory but an imprint, of you as you were, a tangible presence in space. This presence intersects with the vastness of the universe. Our galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of stars, many with planets that might someday be home to life. Your past light has already passed some of these stars. It may be passing through or near their planetary systems now, carrying your image, your shape, your physical existence, albeit faintly. That realization expands the meaning of you. You are not only the person here and now, but also a sequence of radiations, a trail of photons that persist and move far beyond Earth's atmosphere. You have a presence stretching across light years, far surpassing your physical body. This cosmic presence forces us to rethink our notions of existence and self. What does it mean to be you if parts of you already drift through space beyond your control or awareness? If your past selves are still out there, in a literal sense, what is the boundary between past and present? The concept is rooted in physics, not just philosophy. Einstein's theory of relativity and quantum mechanics give us tools to understand how events and particles persist through spacetime. Light travels on null geodesics, the paths dictated by the geometry of spacetime, carrying information across the universe. From a relativistic perspective, the present is not a universal instant shared everywhere. Instead, it depends on where you are and how you move. Different observers can witness different slices of time as now. That means your past, from your perspective, may be someone else's present elsewhere in the universe. Imagine an alien civilization with technology advanced enough to detect the photons that left Earth a century ago. To them, the events of the early 20th century are unfolding in real time, not history. They see a world without the knowledge of the future, without hindsight, only the direct transmission of light carrying moments from Earth's past. This idea blurs the lines between past, present, and future. Time becomes a flexible fabric woven with threads of light traveling through the cosmos. You become a series of moments stretched across space and time, connected by the light that carries your existence forward. There is also a poetic symmetry here. Just as we look out into space to see galaxies as they were millions or billions of years ago, somewhere far away, others could look back at Earth's past through the light that has travelled outward. In this way, your childhood, your teenage years, your every moment are travelling backward in time to those distant places, as if you have become a living part of the universe's ongoing story. This cosmic storytelling isn't just theoretical. Our best telescopes capture light from stars, nebulae, and distant galaxies, revealing snapshots of ancient history. They show us a universe in motion, alive with the echoes of events long past. The light from supernovae exploded millions of years ago still bathes Earth, just as your own light travels through the void, unseen but present. The vast distances and timescales involved are challenging for our minds to grasp. Light travels about 186,000 miles per second, yet the universe is so immense that it takes years, decades, or millions of years for light from distant objects to reach us. Your past light, emitted over the decades of your life, is similarly racing outward, journeying through space at the fastest speed possible. As that light moves, it may encounter objects, dust clouds, gas, planets, that alter its path or absorb some of its energy. These interactions don't erase the information carried. Rather, they modify and spread it. The universe is a dynamic system, constantly reshaping and preserving these signals. The concept of information preservation is fundamental in physics. It implies that nothing that ever existed can truly be lost, even if it becomes hidden or transformed. Your photons, your past selves, are examples of this principle. They live on, embedded in the cosmic fabric. Reflecting on this can deepen our appreciation of existence. You are not isolated or fleeting. Instead, you are an ongoing presence, expanding and evolving beyond the boundaries of your physical form. Your history is woven into the universe itself. This realization brings a new sense of connection to the cosmos. You are part of an immense, intricate system, linked to stars, galaxies, and possibly other forms of life. Your past selves continue to journey outward, bearing silent witness to the life you have lived. In this way, you are immortal, not in the sense of eternal consciousness, but in the persistence of your physical imprint in the universe. Your past selves shine across the cosmos, still children somewhere in the vastness, still moving, still glowing with the light of existence. When we consider the vast journey of light from your past selves, it's natural to wonder about the scale involved. How far has this light travelled? What cosmic milestones has it passed? The distances are mind-boggling, far beyond everyday human experience. Light travels at approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, nearly 186,282 miles per second. Over the course of a year, that means light covers about 9.46 trillion kilometers, or roughly 5.88 trillion miles. This distance is known as a light year, a fundamental measure used by astronomers to describe cosmic scales. Now, think about your life so far. Each year, the light that reflected from you and your surroundings travels nearly 6 trillion miles farther into space. Over a decade, that means your light has traveled about 60 trillion miles. Over multiple decades, your presence in light stretches across hundreds of trillions of miles, moving beyond the solar system, past neighboring stars, and into the vast expanse of interstellar space. Within our own Milky Way galaxy, which is about 100,000 light years across, your childhood light has only just begun its journey. But the galaxy is crowded with stars, dust, and gas. Your photons pass through this complex environment, sometimes altered, sometimes absorbed, sometimes deflected. Yet their core information persists. Space might seem empty, but it is filled with subtle structures, magnetic fields, cosmic rays, plasma clouds, that interact with light in complex ways. Despite these interactions, the photons continue their voyage, carrying your image forward. This leads to the concept of the observable universe. Because light travels at a finite speed, we can only see objects from which light has had time to reach us. When we look at distant galaxies, we are seeing them as they were millions or even billions of years ago. Similarly, the light that left you years ago has become part of that vast ocean of cosmic information. The concept of a light cone is helpful here. Imagine a cone expanding outward from every event in space-time, including your own moments. That cone represents the limit of how far information from that event can travel. Your light cone expands constantly, encompassing more of the universe as time passes. Your past selves, encoded in light, occupy that expanding region. Every moment of your life lies within its own light cone, reaching outward into the cosmos. Wherever that light arrives, your history arrives as well. In the cold depths of space, far beyond Earth's warmth, your light traverses regions where no human has ever been. It passes by asteroids, drifts through the Oort cloud, and ventures beyond the heliosphere, the protective bubble created by the sun's magnetic field. Out there, in the interstellar medium, your photons continue, untouched by the passage of time on Earth. And beyond that, your light enters the galaxy's vast, swirling arms, mingling with the light of countless other stars and histories. Each photon, carrying a fragment of your past, becomes part of the luminous fabric of the Milky Way. This grand journey of your light speaks to the nature of existence in the universe. It reveals a profound continuity, a thread linking you to the stars, the dust, and the distant cosmic reaches. It invites us to see ourselves not as isolated beings, but as ongoing participants in a cosmic dance. Moreover, this perspective reshapes our understanding of time and self. We often view ourselves as limited to a brief window of existence, but the light from your past selves extends beyond that window, a presence in the fabric of space-time that outlasts your physical life. This challenges the notion of mortality. While your body ages and changes, the light that once reflected from you remains. It does not decay in the way matter does. It persists, expanding outward with the universe's ongoing story. There's also a connection here to the idea of cosmic memory. Though you cannot consciously recall every moment of your life, the universe itself holds these moments in the form of traveling photons. They are not memories in the human sense, but physical records, traces of events etched into the cosmos. Scientists have long studied the cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, as a form of universal memory. Similarly, the light from your past selves is a personal memory, etched in the fabric of space and time. This intertwining of personal history with cosmic history is humbling and inspiring. It connects the microcosm of your life with the macrocosm of the universe. Your existence is not just a fleeting moment, but a radiating presence. From this viewpoint, the universe is alive with stories. Stories told through light, carried across time and space. Your story is one of them, still traveling outward, still unfolding in the cosmic expanse. As the years pass, your light will reach places that seem unimaginably distant now. It will cross voids and nebulae, interact with interstellar phenomena, and perhaps be noticed by future explorers or civilizations. Even if no one ever observes it, your past light remains a testament to your existence. It is a continuous, physical reminder that you have been here, that you have mattered, that your life ripples outward into the cosmos. In the stillness of space, where time itself bends and stretches, your childhood self is still shining, a beacon carried on the endless tide of light. As your past light journeys through the universe, it invites us to consider not only where that light is, but also what it means to exist across space and time. We often experience life as a sequence of moments, each fading into the next, bound tightly to the present. Yet the light from your past selves exists independently of your awareness and continues to travel outward, tracing the path of your existence beyond your physical form. This challenges the idea that existence is confined to a single point in space and time. Instead, existence becomes a spread of moments, each carried by photons outward into the cosmos, continually expanding the boundary of your presence. You become a moving constellation of light, a signal broadcast silently into the void. Think about this. Wherever your light is now, it represents a version of you that lived in a different time and place. The child smiling at a family gathering, the teenager walking through a park, the adult contemplating life. All these versions exist simultaneously as light waves traveling through space. From their perspective, they are now, vibrant and real, unfolding in the present moment. The concept is supported by how light's finite speed shapes causality and observation in physics. Because information cannot travel faster than light, the universe's events unfold in a sequence that depends on where and when an observer is located. This leads to the relativity of simultaneity, the idea that different observers may disagree about the timing of events. This means that while you experience your life as a linear flow of time, elsewhere in the universe, observers might witness your past selves in their present. They see you not as history, but as an ongoing reality. Their view of now includes moments you have already lived and left behind. In that sense, your life is not confined to your own perception of time, but is a multi-layered tapestry of moments scattered across space-time. Your presence is distributed, not localized, a sequence of images and events traveling outward, shaping the cosmic landscape. This idea also connects to the way astronomers observe the universe. When we look at distant galaxies, we see them as they were long ago, because their light takes millions or billions of years to reach us. We are peering back in time, viewing history unfolding before our eyes. Similarly, somewhere out there, civilizations might look back toward Earth and witness your past selves, watching moments from your life as they happen in their own frame of reference. They see your existence as a set of real events, not memories. This expands our understanding of what it means to be alive. Life then is not just a biological process confined to a planet, but a cosmic phenomenon, a wave of information radiating through space and time. Moreover, it invites us to reconsider identity. If multiple versions of you exist as light waves traveling through space, all equally real in different frames of reference, what does it mean to be you? Is identity tied only to your current consciousness, or does it extend to your past selves still traveling through the cosmos? This question touches on deep philosophical and scientific issues about selfhood, continuity, and time. Physics shows us that reality is far more complex and interconnected than our everyday experience suggests. The universe does not privilege a single now or a singular version of a person. Instead, existence is layered and distributed. Your past selves live on in light waves moving silently and invisibly, expanding your presence far beyond what you can see or feel. Consider the implications for how we value our moments. Every action, every breath, every smile contributes to a lasting imprint on the universe. Even the smallest gestures become part of a vast, ongoing broadcast of information that stretches across space and time. This perspective offers comfort and meaning. It reassures us that we are not lost to oblivion when moments pass. Instead, those moments continue, carried on light, persisting in the cosmic fabric. It also humbles us, reminding us that we are connected to the universe in profound ways. Our lives are threads woven into the grand cosmic tapestry, our past selves shining as beacons in the vast darkness. In practical terms, this understanding aligns with the principles of quantum mechanics and relativity. These theories reveal a universe where information is conserved, causality is relative, and existence is woven through space-time. Your light's journey is part of this grand design, a personal thread running through the universal narrative. As we reflect on this, it's worth imagining what future explorers or distant civilizations might detect. Could they reconstruct your image from the photons passing through their telescopes? Could they read the story of your life encoded in waves of light? Perhaps. With sufficiently advanced technology, the universe's light archive might become a cosmic library, holding histories not just of stars and galaxies, but of individuals like you. This thought expands our sense of legacy. Beyond memory and storytelling, your existence is etched physically into the cosmos, a presence radiating outward, eternal in a unique scientific sense. Your past selves, still traveling through space, are a testament to the continuity of existence. They remind us that the universe preserves all that has been, not just in story, but in the immutable dance of light. You are still a child somewhere in the cosmos, a flicker of light shining quietly in the endless night. As we reach the final part of this exploration, let us reflect on what it means that the light from your past selves continues traveling through the vastness of space. This is not just a poetic idea, but a profound scientific truth that bridges physics, time, and our sense of self. Every photon that ever left your body has carried a fragment of your existence beyond Earth's boundaries. These fragments form a sphere of light, expanding outward at nearly 300,000 kilometers per second. That sphere encompasses every moment of your life, your laughter, your tears, your silent contemplations, all encoded in particles of light moving ever farther into the universe. In the quiet cosmos, your past selves still exist. They are still children in a distant star system, still teenagers beneath alien skies, still the you of moments long gone yet forever preserved in light. This idea offers a unique kind of immortality, not one of consciousness or memory, but a physical persistence across space and time. Your existence radiates outward, intertwined with the fabric of the universe, connecting you to every star, every planet, every corner of the cosmic expanse. From a scientific standpoint, this is a consequence of the speed of light and the unyielding laws of physics. Light moves relentlessly, carrying information in its waves and particles. It does not pause or forget. It does not judge the importance of what it carries. It simply continues. That means your presence is both fleeting and enduring. Fleeting because your body and mind change and age. Enduring because the light you emitted persists, traveling across the cosmos, a whisper of your existence in the void. In a way, the universe is a vast archive, preserving the echoes of all that has ever happened. Your life is a part of that archive, a collection of moments captured in photons moving through space. As you prepare to rest, you can take comfort in this knowledge. While sleep invites your mind to drift and your body to rejuvenate, your past selves continue their journey. Somewhere in the cosmos, light bearing your image travels silently, passing stars, galaxies, and unknown worlds. You are connected to the universe not only through your physical presence, but also through this endless stream of light. Your life's history is woven into the cosmos, a continuous presence moving outward, unbound by time. And so, as you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, know that you are still a child somewhere in the universe. You are still a presence in distant reaches, carried on the unceasing tide of light. You are part of a cosmic story that stretches across billions of years and trillions of miles. Sleep peacefully, surrounded by the quiet hum of the cosmos, embraced by the light of your past selves still shining somewhere beyond the stars.